Hello there, I'm Nadia Azmi and this is Nightline. Here are the top stories. Pardons Board halves Datuk Seri Najib's jail time to be released in 2028. And IGP issues stern warning against errant police officers. Good morning. The Pardons Board has decided to commute former Prime Minister Datuk Seri Mohammad Najib's jail term from 12 years to 6. According to a statement by the board, Najib will be released on August 23, 2028, and the fine has been reduced to 50 million ringgit from 210 million ringgit. According to the Pardons Board statement on Friday, if the fine is not paid, a year will be added to the jail term and the release date will then be on August 23, 2029. The statement said the Kuala Lumpur, Labuan and Putrajaya Federal Territories Pardons Board had met on Monday, January 29th to deliberate 5 pardon applications which included Najib's. A total of 5 pardon papers were considered by the board that was chaired by then Yang di-Pertuan Agong Al-Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah. Najib was serving a 12-year sentence after being found guilty of abuse of power, criminal breach of trust and money laundering in relation to 42 million ringgit that had been siphoned from SRC International, a former 1MDB subsidiary. He was also fined 210 million ringgit. Najib sought to obtain a pardon from the Pardons Board, which held its meeting last Monday. The petition for his pardon was first presented in September 2022, and an addendum to the petition was filed in October of the same year and last April. The 71-year-old Najib, however, is still facing 3 other criminal cases in court. It includes the 2.3 billion ringgit embezzlement case of One Malaysia Development Berhad 1MDB funds, which is being tried before Kuala Lumpur High Court Judge Datuk Colin Lawrence Sequeira. For that case, the prosecution has called 49 witnesses. The former Pekan Member Parliament is also facing 6 charges of breach of trust of government property, totaling 6.6 billion ringgit in relation to payments to International Petroleum Investment Company IPIC. The case is set for hearing in June 2024 before Judge Datuk Muhammad Jamil Hussein. He is also facing a money laundering charge involving SRC International Sdn Berhad funds of 27 million ringgit in the Kuala Lumpur High Court. However, the case has yet to go on trial. The Prime Minister, meanwhile, in an interview with Al Jazeera, said Najib's right to appeal to the Pardons Board should be respected, and the same goes with the decision made by that board. Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim said Najib also has the right to submit an appeal to the Pardons Board on any future decision of some of the cases which he is still facing.
Datuk Seri Najib went through the legal process and is now in prison. But every right of every citizen who is been convicted to appeal to the king. I used to sit in the Pardons Board as Minister in charge of Kuala Lumpur. Now is being held by someone else. But of course the king, as a constitutional monarch, consults the Attorney General, the Prime Minister, and many. And he is of course the bastion and to uphold the Constitution and the rule of law. And all these considerations are taken into account, and then the king, after listening to the board, finally decided to reduce the sentence by 50%. There's an ongoing case in court through a judicial process independently, has to continue. At the same time, Datuk Seri Najib has every right to again appeal to the new king. So I think the process has to be respected.
Now, a special meeting of the UMNO Supreme Council is set to convene at 11 a.m. on Saturday at the party's headquarters in Menara Dato' On. Its president, Datuk Seri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi, said in a statement on Friday that the meeting will discuss the latest political developments in the country, particularly in relation to the announcement by the Pardons Board on its decision to reduce former Prime Minister Datuk Seri Najib Tun Razak's sentence. The statement also said in relation to this, UMNO will postpone the Bumiputra Economic Congress colloquium, which has been scheduled on the same day. The colloquium, chaired by Party Vice President Datuk Seri Johari Abdul Ghani, was supposed to be attended by 2,000 UMNO leaders from 191 divisions nationwide.
How are retailers addressing the shift in consumer behavior, prioritizing essential purchases? And how are retailers leveraging on the expected rise in sales during the Chinese New Year period? Money Matters with Malaysia Retailers Association President Dato' Andrew Lim Tat Kiong this Saturday on TV3 and live HD stream on Tonton.
All district police chiefs OCPDs have been told to monitor the activities of officers and personnel in their respective administrative areas if any of them live a lavish lifestyle. Inspector General of Police Tan Sri Razaruddin Hussein said the OCPDs would be held accountable if Bukit Aman detects any of their subordinates living extravagantly beyond their positions and salaries. Without mincing his words, the top cop stressed that members of the force engaged in corrupt practices and those colluding with them should step down.
Kalau pihak kita di Bukit Aman ini boleh dapat maklumat bahawa pegawai ini hidup mewah, pegawai ini begini, pegawai ini begini, dan pihak KPD tak tahu dan buat tak tahu, you berambus. You get out. Tak payah jadi OCPD.
Razaruddin also said that he wants on-the-spot reports from the OCPDs if any of their personnel are found to have disciplinary issues or breach the police's code of conduct. He added that the police should carry out their responsibilities and duties accordingly as they are under the close watch of the people.
Orang melihat kita sekarang ini dengan gadget yang ada. Tidak dengan telefon, dengan dia punya dashcam, depan belakang, dalam pun ada. Dalam pun ada. Kita jangan jadi bodoh sangat. Ini bukannya tahun-tahun dahulu polis di Raja Malaysia ni seolah-olah macam polis raja di Malaysia. No way.
Razaruddin gave the stern warning during a special meeting with the police force's top brass, senior officers and OCPDs around the country. The clip of his speech during the meeting, which took place at the Police College in Cheras, was uploaded in the police's official Facebook page earlier on Friday. Education Minister Fadlina Siddiq has urged all quarters, especially parents, to report to the ministry if schools have made any deductions in the Early Schooling Aid BAP. She stressed that the RM150 cash aid per student must be dispersed to parents in full amount.
Kalau ada pemotongan, kita minta laporkan pada kita terus untuk kita siasat dan juga seperti mana yang saya sebut, ia mesti jumlah yang diberikan sepenuhnya. Jadi kalau ada aduan itu, kita minta kemukakan dan kita akan siasat dan jumlah itu mesti dikembalikanlah.
The minister spoke to the media after gracing the Chinese New Year celebration and presentation of BAP 2024 at Sekolah Menengah Jenis Kebangsaan Yu Hua in Kajang, Selangor on Friday. Recent media reports have highlighted claims that parents only received RM50 out of the total allocated RM150 for BAP. On Thursday, Deputy Education Minister Wong Kah-Woh said that no complaints or reports have been received regarding the deduction of BAP by schools since its distribution began on January 10th. He said that RM788.17 million in aid has been allocated to 5.5 million students nationwide, with the distribution expected to be completed by February 10th. Nairobi gas explosion. At least 3 dead, hundreds more injured. News from the foreign front when we return.
Money Matters is back with a new season. your key insights into finance. Money Matters. Every Saturday, 5 p.m. Only on TV3 and stream now on Tonton.
Weh, korang, siapa sangka tinju terus tertinju ke hati awak. Tapi kan, ada sesuatu yang menghentikan mimpinya.
나 죽어도 안 해요. 우리 엄마 건투 때문에 죽었어요.
그러니까 알게 해달라고. 어쩌다 권투를 하게 됐는지, 왜 권투를 관뒀는지, 왜 숨어 살았는지.
My Lovely Boxer. Setiap Selasa hingga Khamis, 11 malam. Syoknya berke-drama di Cam Sarang TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Saingan dominasi 12 lagu terbaik kini semakin hangat. Bakal mencetuskan AJL paling ikonik di pentas paling berprestij. Anugerah Juara Lagu 38. Inilah masanya untuk anda sama-sama merasai debarannya. Temui finalis AJL 38 kesayangan anda di Meet and Greet paling ikonik. Ahad 4 Februari ini bermula jam 1 petang di Pasar Seni Kuala Lumpur. Masuk adalah percuma. Jumpa anda di sana. Alami dunia Musicavers di Anugerah Juara Lagu 38.
We're back with news on the foreign front. The Zionist regime is planning to expand its ground assault into Rafah on Friday, where most Palestinians in the besieged enclave have been forced to seek shelter amid heavy bombardment of the rest of the enclave. More than 1 million displaced Palestinians fear a new Zionist onslaught after the Israeli defense minister pledged to attack Rafah, an area once described as a safe zone. Thousands of Gazans have continued to flee intense hostilities in Khan Yunis towards the massively overcrowded southern city of Rafah, which UN humanitarians described as a pressure cooker of despair. This has spread fear among the displaced and concerns from global aid organizations, as the last place designated as a safe zone by the Zionist army in Gaza comes under threat, while Israel continues to hamper the flow of aid. According to Gaza's health ministry, at least 112 Palestinians have been killed and 148 others were wounded during the past 24 hours. Meanwhile, the situation for pregnant women in the Gaza Strip is increasingly dire, with doctors in the embattled region saying that they face a significantly higher risk of miscarriage. The Palestinian Health Ministry reported a 300% increase in the rate of miscarriage among pregnant women since the start of the conflict, with warnings that the lives of about 60,000 pregnant women are at risk due to the absence of healthcare in the enclave and the difficulty of reaching hospitals.
ونحن على يقين بأن الأسلحة التي تستخدم حاليا هي أسلحة جديدة لم نعتد عليها، وبالتالي لها آثار كارثية على الوضع الصحي. ومن ضمن الوضع الصحي الكارثي الذي نحن نعاني منه موضوع اللي هو الإجهاضات. على مدار الساعة نستقبل شكوى بأن هناك إجهاض وأن هناك نزيف.
North Korea continued its provocative weapons testing on Friday by firing cruise missiles into the sea, while leader Kim Jong-un urged military preparedness during a shipyard tour. South Korea's Joint Chiefs of Staff reported multiple missile launches into the Western Sea at about 11 a.m. local time, with the US and South Korean militaries analyzing the situation. It was reported that Kim is likely using the tests to show that he has a variety of methods to launch a strike, adding to the planning contingencies for the US and its allies in the region, Japan and South Korea. This includes using his navy to fire off missiles, as well as deploying a new type of underwater drone that Pyongyang says would be able to deliver a nuclear strike. Weapons experts, however, doubt the claim. Although North Korea is barred by UN Security Council resolutions from testing ballistic missiles, it faces no such prohibitions on cruise missiles. A huge gas blast in the Kenyan capital Nairobi late on Thursday has killed at least 3 people and injured nearly 300 others. According to officials, the incident occurred when a lorry carrying gas exploded in Embakasi district at about 11:30 p.m, ignited into a huge ball of fire. The government initially said the blast happened at a gas plant where workers were refilling gas cylinders, but later clarified that a truck had exploded in its parking yard. The fire was eventually contained by Friday morning, but firefighters, rescue teams and police were looking for people trapped in the area. The area has now been cordoned off and an investigation is underway into the cause of the explosion. The Kenya Red Cross said it had taken 271 people to hospital and a further 27 people who were treated on site were later allowed to go home. At least 3 people were killed in the United States when a small plane crashed into a mobile home in Clearwater, Florida, Thursday night. The crash was reported around 7 p.m. local time at a large mobile home park in the Tampa Bay area. According to authorities, the plane slammed directly into one home, causing several fatalities, both from the aircraft and within the mobile home, and setting ablaze to 3 other houses. The fire chief was unable to immediately say exactly how many people were killed, and the Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, did not confirm how many people were aboard the plane. However, it was confirmed that the pilot and 2 people on the ground were killed in the crash. The FAA said in its statement that shortly before the crash, the pilot had reported an engine failure. Both the FAA and the National Transportation Safety Board are currently responding and will investigate the case. Jordan and Tajikistan's dream run. Action from the AFC Asian Cup after this breather.
Air mata adalah cara untuk mengungkap kisah hati. Air mata yang merindui.
Allah, itu bukan saya dengan anak saya.
Air mata cinta yang tidak disangka.
Aku bercinta seorang-seorang.
Air mata penuh penyesalan.
Alhamdulillah.
Air mata kesyukuran.
Pasti akan ada rezeki orang lain juga.
Satu destinasi untuk semua telefilm air mata kegemaran anda hanya di Cereka Rama TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton. Dia hanyalah insan biasa sehingga takdir merubah segalanya.
Ali Baba
bangkit mencari arah tuju demi menyelamatkan cinta sejatinya.
शाही खानदान की लगती हो.
Mampukah Ali melawan kejahatan?
जब हम लिखेंगे दास्तान काबुल.
Ali Baba, Dastan I Kabul. Setiap Isnin hingga Khamis 4 petang di Sonia TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Berjaya kuasai sektor dominasi lelaki, ketangkasan wanita terus menjadi inspirasi.
Ada je orang cakap dekat saya, kau perempuan nak jadi bodyguard, apa yang kau tahu? Sekarang ni semua perempuan boleh buat kerja lelaki.
Bekerjasama dengan pengiran Anisha, beliau memberi kebebasan saya untuk berkarya. So basically semua kita akan discuss together sebelum menyiapkan baju tersebut.
Kalau anda semua nak tahu tentang Amira Osman, jangan lupa untuk saksikan Nona hanya di TV3.
And we're back with sports. Football, the AFC Asian Cup. Jordan edged Tajikistan 1-0 to move into the semi-finals of the tournament for the first time, thanks to a second-half own goal at the Ahmed bin Ali Stadium on Friday. The two teams had drawn a World Cup qualifier in November, but it was Jordan who came out on top. In a goalless opening half, Ehsan Panjshanbi came closest to scoring for Tajikistan when his effort hit the bar, but Jordan was the one who managed to break the deadlock when they finally found the breakthrough from a corner in the 66th minute after Abdullah Nasib's header went in via a deflection off the chest of Vardat Hanonov. Tajikistan tried their best to score an equaliser, but Jordan managed to hold on for a famous victory ending Tajikistan's dream run in Qatar. Hussein Muta's side will next play either 2015 champions Australia or South Korea in the first semi-final on Tuesday. And on to tennis, the Open Stade de France. Third seed Felix Auger-Aliassime avoided an early upset against Arthur Kazak in Montpellier on Thursday, winning the game 7-5, 2-6, 7-6, 4. The Canadian won the first set 7-5, but the Frenchman got things level by winning the second 6-2 and forcing a decider set. There was a lot of drama in the third set, where the pair battled it out for an hour and 11 minutes, but it was Auger-Aliassime who took the victory 7-7, 6-4 to claim the victory and book his spot in the quarterfinals. In another match, top seed Holger Rune booked his spot in the quarterfinals on Thursday after his 7-5, 6-2 win over Pablo Lamas Ruiz in 1 hour and 23 minutes. Rune now faces American Michael Moore for a place in the semi-finals. Earlier, fourth seed Borna Coric defeated Pedro Martinez in straight sets on Thursday. The Croatian saved all of his 4 break points as he dropped just 4 games in a 6-4, 6-love victory. He reaches his 45th career quarterfinal spot, where he will face either Constant Listinian or Flavio Cobolli. Up next, hunt for remaining escapees in Bidor continues. Don't go away.
Mereka hanya ada 7 hari untuk menyempurnakannya.
Are you with me? Let's bring it in! Come on! Let's do it!
Mengubah mimpi menjadi realiti dalam satu misi membina semula rumah yang baru.
Beautiful village we're making.
Got the custom tile in, cabinets are going in right now. Love it! Looking good!
Extreme Makeover Home Edition setiap Sabtu 12.30 hari. Stream sekarang ditonton dan di TV3. Hujung minggu rasa sunyi je kalau tak tengok Cereka Ahad TV3. Kalau Aku Kaya 4 Februari.
I love you so much.
Kebaya Mek Hua 11 Februari. Jodoh Tak Salah Alamat 18 Februari. Katin Glam 25 Februari.
Dalam duri hipokrit kau.
Barulah ngam dapat tengok Cereka Ahad di TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Dapatkan tiket ke Music Covers Anugerah Juara Lagu 38 serendah RM68 je di www.tonton.com.my. Lagi best kalau jadi Tonton subscribers. Boleh beli tiket seminggu advance tau. Alami AJL paling ikonik Anugerah Juara Lagu 38 secara langsung dari Axiata Arena, eksklusif di TV3 dan stream juga melalui Tonton. Psst. Sekarang dah boleh tonton favourite anda di Smart TV tau.
Welcome back. 7 of the 130 illegal immigrants who broke out from the temporary immigration detention depot in Bidor, Perak on Thursday night have been recaptured. 4 were recaptured about 4 p.m. on Friday, and 3 additional arrests were confirmed by State Police Chief Datuk Seri Muhammad Yusri Hassan Basri on Friday night. Earlier, Yusri told reporters outside the detention depot that authorities are intensifying efforts to track down the remaining escapees. He added that the manhunt is focused on a radius around the area close to the depot, which is surrounded by all palm plantations and is near the North-South Expressway. Those who fled, aged between 17 and 35, are believed to be hiding in nearby areas as they fled without any money, personal necessities and food. 7 roadblocks have been set up by Tapah District Police Headquarters and nearby district police stations, including in Kampar, Mualim and Hilir Perak, and more could be added if necessary. Yusri also cautioned the public against harbouring the escaped migrants.
Supaya tidak bersekongkol ataupun memberikan simpati kepada pelayan ini, kerana mereka juga boleh didakwa di atas mereka ini memberi kerjasama dan bersubahat dengan pelayaran ini tadi.
The operation to track down the remaining escapees involved 387 members from various security agencies, including the General Operations Force (GOF) and the Bukit Aman Air Wing Unit. It was reported previously that a riot incident had led to 131 illegal migrants escaping from the detention depot. Of the total, 115 were Rohingya detainees, followed by 15 Myanmar nationals and 1 from Bangladesh. One of the escapees, a 33-year-old Rohingya male, died after being involved in a road accident while attempting to cross the North-South Expressway. Meanwhile, a total of 2,675 Rohingya detainees currently under custody in 12 immigration detention centres in the peninsula will be separated into smaller groups. Immigration Director General Datuk Ruslin Juso said this was necessary as authorities have found that the Rohingya community, when placed in a large number in a single depot, has a propensity to turn aggressive.
Kita letakkan mereka tu, kita buat pengasingan. Maknanya semua depo akan ambil sebahagian daripada mereka. Dan dalam blok sendiri pun kita akan campur dengan tahanan-tahanan lain seperti tahanan Indonesia, tahanan daripada Thailand, Bangladesh dan sebagainya. Supaya untuk mengurangkan mereka ni untuk bertindak agresif. Bila mereka berkumpul ramai, tendensi untuk mereka agresif tu ada.
He said this was among the immediate steps taken to update the standard operating procedures in all immigration detention depots following the escape of 131 detainees from the Bidor depot on Thursday, which took place after a riot broke out. Aside from that, the department has also moved quickly by tightening security in all detention depots as well as increasing the number of personnel. Following the incident, 435 other illegal migrants who did not attempt to escape and had stayed in the depot were promptly relocated to 6 other detention depots elsewhere. In Kedah, 3 soldiers were killed in a crash at kilometre 77.5 of the Plus Expressway near Gurun early on Friday morning. The incident occurred while the soldiers were inspecting a broken-down truck before being rammed by a courier lorry. Kuala Muda Police Chief Assistant Commissioner Zaidi Che Hassan said initial investigations showed that the army trucks were travelling from the Pengkalan Hulu Border Regiment towards the 30 Brigade camp in Perlis, while the courier lorry was travelling from Kulim to Alustar when the 10:30 a.m. incident occurred. During the incident, the victims had pulled over on the emergency lane as one of the trucks broke down. The driver of the courier lorry lost control of his vehicle and crashed into one of the army trucks, killing the victims on the spot. The victims have been identified as Sergeant Rosali Abdul Rani, age 39, 40-year-old Corporal Muhammad Asri Idris, and 30-year-old Lance Corporal Muhammad Hafiz Haris. All 3 bodies were taken to Sultanah Bahia Hospital for post-mortem. Meanwhile, the lorry driver who suffered serious injuries was also rushed to the hospital for treatment. The incident is being investigated under the Road Transport Act. And as we wrap up Nightline this time around, let's take a look as a group of artists turns a historic Cape Town neighbourhood into a symbol of solidarity with Palestinians by painting murals featuring emblems of resistance to Israel's military operation in Gaza. I'm Nadia Azmi. Thank you for tuning in and have a great weekend.